Okay viewers, let's see what's going on in the zoo.
New South Wales police and protest organisers are currently in a showdown about the location of this planned rally tomorrow. The route is meant to start at Town Hall and go through to Parliament House, right through the restricted zone imposed in the wake of the Bondi shooting. The rally is protesting the arrival of Israeli President ISSAC HERTZOG tomorrow. He was invited to Australia after the Bondi shooting to give comfort to the Jewish community, but is facing allegations relating to the incitement of genocide. Protesting is not illegal in New South Wales, but the restricted zone in Sydney means if the rally moves as planned, police can intervene and arrest people. Acting Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Dunstan says negotiations have been ongoing with the Palestine Action Group, who he says want to see a peaceful protest too, but police say the location of the rally needs to be moved to outside the restricted zone. He says he's pleading with organisers to make an 11th-hour change.
Would ask them to consider relocating and to continue negotiating with us. But I do emphasise that Mr Lees went to great efforts to outline an intent and desire for a peaceful and safe protest, which is exactly the same as what we require.
Viewers, Joshua Lees needs to be locked up and put away because there's no Australian spirit behind these protests at all, none.
A huge police presence is expected tomorrow. Around 3,000 officers will descend on the inner city and eastern suburbs areas. Road closures will also be in place throughout the city to accommodate the rally and the President's arrival. Members of the public are being urged to avoid the inner city area. The Palestine Action Group says it plans to mount legal proceedings in the Supreme Court tomorrow, challenging the declaration of a major event area, which gives police stronger powers. In a statement they posted on Instagram, they said the powers are being used to suppress lawful political protest.
I tell you what, the only person that needs to be locked up or in trouble is this guy here, Joshua Lees. He has no idea. He has no idea about the truth of the Middle East and how violent and aggressive it is. If he got put amongst the Palestinian blokes, they'd use him up for a couple of days. They'd start to turn on him. He wouldn't know which way to turn, and they'd probably pretty abruptly unliven him. He doesn't realise that. I don't know if he's got a Middle Eastern background. I have. I've also got an Aboriginal one as well. So Mr. Lees, I would love to interview you if you see this video, because I don't think you're doing the right thing by Australia or Palestine at all.
They said the powers are being used to suppress lawful political protest that threaten the civil liberties of everyone in New South Wales.
A police operation will be rolled out across Sydney and Melbourne as Israeli President ISSAC HERTZOG makes his way to Australia. Let's go live now to Hayden Nelson, who is in Sydney. Now, Hayden, it sparked a massive scale response. It's sort of on the scale of New Year's Eve.
That's how it's being described, Mon, as Fortress Sydney, beginning as early as today and lasting until Thursday. That police operation spanning not just from here at Circular Quay, but from Pyrmont all the way to Bondi, with road closures beginning here today and 3,000 police on the ground patrolling with heightened security measures.
Yeah, this is the trouble, viewers. This is the trouble that the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas terrorist protesting groups have caused for the Australian people, and they're being encouraged by federal politicians like Ed Husic, Andrew Wilkie, Sophie Scamps, Zali Segel, Maureen Faruqi, well, good luck with her, David Shoebridge, Cameron Murphy in the New South Wales state, Stephen Lawrence, he said he'll protest, so he'll look for him in the protests. Sarah Kane, Jenny Leong, she said she'll march in the protests, good on ya. And Sue Higginson, and she said she would support the protest as well. This is the mentality. These are the haters and the dividers. These are the politicians that are costing the common Australian taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. 3,500 police to stop the assassination attempt, right? A possible assassination attempt against an ally right, of the Australian nation, who the light horsemen risked their lives for, and everybody else that tried to support Israel back in the wars and all the rest of it, from Australia. This is all because we've got an ally that doesn't suit terrorist supporters. I'm going to say it, they're terrorist supporters. Hamas is a terrorist group. And this is what happens. This is the beginning of the end, viewers. This is what happens when Islam and Muslim ideology penetrates your country. Because it's that ideology that's causing this security threat. It's not the Jews, it's not the common Australians, it's not the Kooris, the Aboriginals, the First Nations. It's none of us. It's the Muslim Islamic ideology, and the government has done nothing about it since Bondi, the massacre of Bondi. They've done nothing. And you've still got the federal politicians and the state politicians who are on that picture there encouraging this. No.
Bolstered powers. Authorities are keen to muscle up against plans for a national day of protest. They have powers to ban protests in the wake of the Bondi terror attack.
Do you know what they're afraid of, viewers? See all this, right? This isn't the Australia I know by a long shot. This is to prevent Islamic anti-Semitism manifestation of a possible assassination. Right, this is how worried the government is. This is how bad Australia's become.
But pro-Palestinian groups are still going ahead with them. To coincide with the arrival of Israeli President Isaac Herzog, police had requested the group here in Sydney move their march away from their plan from Town Hall to Parliament to instead go from Hyde Park to Central, but that request has been rejected, only adding to their concerns. Let's take a listen to the Premier, Chris Minns.
We're trying to get that balance right. We're asking for people to show some respect and calm as we get through the next 4 days.
So guess what, viewers? As far as the nation of Australia and the standard common civilians that have got relatives that died in World War I, World War II, and all the rest of it, who fought alongside Israel, right? Because don't forget, Israel's an ally, not an enemy. They have no respect for the people that gave their lives for this country. And why would they? Why would they? The radical, I take nothing away from the peaceful Muslims, but it's a long shot how all that's going to end up. The radical Islamic Muslim people have caused over 3,500 police to come out to prevent a possible assassination attempt on the Israeli president Isaac HERTZOG in Australia. It's an absolute shame on our country. It really is terrible.
Right, we're asking for people to show some respect and calm as we get through the next 4 days.
Isaac Herzog's visit's been seen as the strongest stance against anti-Semitism possible in Australia. He will meet the families of the 15 victims of the Bondi terror attack, and while his itinerary is being kept secret, mostly for security reasons,
mostly because he possibly there could be an assassination attempt. That's what they're not saying.
He'll visit Melbourne, Mon. Protests are planned there, and Victoria doesn't have the same laws to ban protests as they have here in New South Wales. Mon.
Yep, we understand a little later in the week, but as you say, we don't know the exact day. Hayden, thank you.
Okay, viewers, so I've pulled a rabbit out of the hat here. Let's see what comes out of this.
In this bulletin, the Australian Federal Police says it won't be arresting Israel's president. Suspect charged over terrorist act in Perth reportedly inspired by so-called pro-white ideology. And in AFL, Geelong skipper Patrick Dangerfield says more coaches should be given extended leave during the off-season. With all this morning's latest from the SBS newsroom, I'm Katrina Sterrett. The Australian Federal Police has confirmed it won't arrest Israeli President Isaac Herzog after obtaining independent legal advice about how to handle his visit to Australia. President Herzog is due in Australia on Sunday for a 5-day visit after an invitation from the federal government. The AFP says an incumbent head of state, President Herzog, has full immunity from Australian criminal and civil jurisdiction under customary international law. Australia's former Human Rights Commissioner Chris Sidoti says the visit should not be happening. He's one of the authors of a United Nations Independent International Commission of Inquiry, which concluded in September that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza.
But just remember, viewers, this is only his opinion. Okay, this is his opinion. Israel's had every right to defend itself. They were robbed of 1,300 innocent lives through a terrorism massacre, no different to the one on Bondi Beach, just a surprise attack, no warning, no going after soldiers, no trying to fight the military, just killing innocent civilians. These people that are talking this rubbish, honestly, it can't be justified. War is war. If you start a war, if I go down to, say, Lakemba in Sydney and start stirring up the Muslims, they're not going to stand there. They're going to viciously. As a matter of fact, the police won't let you go into those areas because you're liable to be harmed. Well, if you cause a massacre on a country, and I hope Australia would do the same, if the Chinese hit our shores, and there's a strong possibility one day they will, what's the Australian are these mugs, these imbeciles, going to just stand there and go for it? I bet you they're going to be screaming to our military to do everything you can to stop them. This is the blind, willful ignorance that I hope comes out in the Australian Royal Commission as to the anti-Semitism going on in this country, because Ed Husick, Andrew Wilkie, Sophie Scamps, Sally Stegel, Maureen Faruqi, David Shoebridge, Cameron Murphy, Stephen Lawrence, Sarah Kane, Jenny Leong and Sue Higginson, amongst others, are the ones that are causing the divide and hatred, all from the Greens and Labor Party, on a person who has tried to save his nation. And Israel hasn't seen anything yet. Oh no, they haven't seen nothing yet. It's just only begun for them. And we've got the gall to stand here. We can't even protect 15 Israelis on a iconic Australian beach. Who are these people?
Could be more calculated to further divide Australians.
But the division in Australia is coming from the ideologists, right? From these radical ideologists, not from the common Australian people that like football, meat pies, kangaroos and Holden cars and support their allies. These people are standing up for terrorism, for terrorists. If you support a terrorist ideology and manifesto, then you're what's called accessory to the fact. These people are accessory to the fact. There's an imminent terrorist threat in Australia now. There's a strong possibility that there could be assassination attempt against Isaac Herzog. They don't know, right? They don't know. But every possibility is there because they're letting these people say what they want and run riot however they want up and down the cities of this nation. They're not even on the right track. They've lied, they've schemed, they've deceived, they've misled, and these people are supposed to be, you know, people that you look up to. I failed at school. I was a dummy, and I can see through all this willful blindness, ideology, terrorism ideology. It's just, they've just started again. The momentum's moving towards another terrorist attack.
To undermine social cohesion than a visit by Herzog at this time.
Well, I'm sorry, as an ally of the nation of Israel, and my grandfather went to war for Australia and with Israel and all the rest of it, and the Light Horsemen, right? This guy deserves to come here with the respect of an ally, right? One day Australia's going to be at war. It's imminent, right? It's going to happen. And these nitwits are all going to run for cover and expect the Australian military to look after them. That's all that's happening in Israel. We haven't got thousands of missiles just popping out of the sky without any warning or any reason, you know, over and over. They had to annihilate Gaza. They had to. And the civilians should have legged it. But yeah, a lot of they try and say Herzog wants to wipe out the civilians and everything. And he said that they're all in on it. The majority are. They were mentally and psychologically informed and taught and nurtured to believe that all Israelis need to die, and it comes from the Islamic writings. I mean, this has gone way too far. The government's not going to stop the spread and the harm and the destruction of Islamic ideology. This government is not going to stop it. They've made that clear. For this man to come here and be under the threat of assassination, that's just absolutely disgusting. My grandfather and all the men that fought in World War II and World War I, they would be rolling in their graves, and the politicians are responsible for it. Nobody else. And this bloke speaking here, no.
The most divisive figures in the world. But coming to Australia at this time is exactly the wrong thing that should be happening if we are...
This is according to his opinion as a Muslim ideologist, a radical Islamic ideologist. There's no other way of saying it. This man has come to comfort and encourage the Jewish communities after the biggest massacre in Australian history. And you've got people on here causing hate, divide, division and lies. They're the ones causing it, right? These are the ones causing it. And you know what? If they start a war in Australia with this sort of rhetoric, right, and our civilians start getting blown up, who are we going to blame? Are we going to blame the Chinese? Right? Or are we going to blame Australia for trying to stop the Chinese? Israel is trying to stop terrorism attacks. And they tried for years. They gave the land to these Palestinians in 2005 and they destroyed it. Be very careful to what you're listening to, because the hatred and divisiveness is coming from the pro-Palestinian Hamas radicals who protest and talk this gibberish day in, day out. And it's wrong.
Interested in social cohesion and national unity.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is among those backing the visit, along with the Zionist Federation of Australia and the Executive Council of Australian Jewry. Liberal frontbencher James Paterson says the visit is entirely appropriate.
Absolutely it is. After Australia's worst ever terror attack at Bondi, I think at bare minimum the least thing we can do is have the President of the Jewish state come to Australia.
I'm just going to say very quickly too, James Paterson could possibly, I'm not sure how it all works, be in the future our Prime Minister. He's a man of incredible intellect. He knows his politics. He has a rational, unbiased mind, and he is one of the forefront people that are talking common sense and fighting for the common Australians that we have at the moment.
To provide comfort to the Australian Jewish community. And I think it's the right thing for the government to have invited President Herzog, and I think it's incredibly disappointing that we have some Labor backbenchers and other Labor figures, including Ed Husic, publicly running down what was a very good gesture after Bondi.
Authorities say the suspect charged with committing a terrorist act in a failed Invasion Day rally bombing was inspired by a